YouTubers, Brian Proctor back again with another video, and this is the third video in the I Want to Draw That Picture series. Now this series is dedicated to those people who want to draw something or see a picture and want to draw it and really can't get it and really don't know why they can't draw it, so they get frustrated and give up. Well, in this series I'm going to be taking a number of pictures and I'm going to be drawing it and pointing out what I'm doing while I'm drawing it so that you can follow along, so that you can become a better artist and better see what it is you're looking at and translate that into pencil movement to get the right shape and so forth and so on. So today we're going to go with Wolverine. So this is a statue. It's not a drawing. I decided to do statues versus drawings because when you look at someone's drawing, you try to emulate that person's style. In this series, I want you to be able to develop your own style. So by drawing a statue, you won't see your favorite artist's style and try to capture it line by line, or try to see the way that they did their cross hatching and their inking and so forth. You'll just concentrate on the picture itself, the shapes in the picture, and then your style will eventually come out by you doing a picture versus a drawing, or should I say a picture of a drawing. So as I said, this is a statue, so we're going to go with this Wolverine. So let's go ahead and get going. And I'll look this up. And somebody interested in buying a statue, or they say, oh, I like that. Well, how much is that? And can I get it? And so forth. So the information will be at the end of the video. Maybe have a link to where you can go and buy this, but I have to look the information up. So with that said, let's just go ahead and get started with this video. Okay, so let me apologize by the darkness of this picture. My printer printed it out a little darker than I hoped. Next time I'll do some Photoshop and go in and lighten it up, but just kind of follow what I'm doing and hopefully it will come out right. So the first thing I always say to do is find you some border lines that you can establish where your picture won't go past. Just like in comic books, you have your gutters. So instead of starting to just draw a picture and the feet will come off the bottom of your page like I used to do and sometimes still do, you want to have your border. So if you're drawing halfway through it and you know your foot is going to come off, one, you'll have a little extra room just in case you just got to get that extra toe in there. And then two, I forgot what two was. You're drawing too big if you're coming toward that line. So you establish that, your border. Now your picture does not have to go from here to here. It could still be inside, but you want to make sure you're not creeping up on that line right there. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm not drawing really dark, and yeah, I'm not. So second thing you want to do is you want to take a look at your picture and you want to see kind of the overall shape of how it's going, and then just draw a rough overall shape in that space that you want to use. So let's just say, and it doesn't you don't have to add the arms and the legs. I'm just going like shoulder, going down the side, and his legs here, and the other leg just about like right about there. So something like that is basically all you need. Remember, your border is your end game. So if I put the foot up here, because I'll maybe put a rock or something, and I think he's standing on part of a sentinel. So about like that, I'll say that one foot is here, maybe the other foot is going to go past the sentinel. So if I say this is the little part that he's standing on, whatever that looks like, we have a better establishment of what I'm doing. So let's just say that, and let's just say the head will go about here. So now I know that this is basically the size of my picture. It might shrink a little bit more because he's Wolverine and he's short and he's crouching. So we'll see. So we have a lot of foreshortening in here, which is good. You'll learn a little something about foreshortening if you're not a foreshortener. So the first thing I do is I do my oval for my torso. So using this, I'll just do my oval like that. Now that might be a little big, but I'm going to go with it. Second thing I do is I know how the center line is going. And usually I'll have like a light pencil or silver pencil to draw the lines on the paper that I am using so that you can see. But because this is so dark, I don't want to really mess up the actual photograph because I might need to see something that I'm going to cover up. So the line is not centered. It's more over to the side, and it comes down around, because if this is a ball, this line would have, this center line would have to be just as round as that line, and it comes down into the stomach. So from there, we have this here. Let's do this little waist here. And usually the waist is defined. I draw a little rectangle or tuna can, as I like to call it, because it's a circle. So if we have this part right here, which is the torso, curves around, then we have just a little piece like this for the waist, like that. And remember to always keep your figures round. So if it was like, as I always say, a tuna can, and it was round like this, that's how it would be, just this little piece. So we have that. We have this. Since this arm is in the way, we're not going to worry about that arm now. We're just going to have this little piece that comes down, and we're not drawing dark, we're not drawing detail, we're just getting the basic proportions out of the way. And the waist is subject to change because that is kind of fat. So looking at this, this is an angle right there, so you want to have that angle. And the way I usually do is I'll just take my hand and do it a couple times until I get used to that angle, and then I'm able to do it over here as well. It's like when I draw a circle, I just keep going. So we have that angle here, and so that would be about right here. It curves in, and then you have the belt. So the belt is there as well. Come down right here for the upside down house. And if you've seen my videos, you'll know what I'm saying, because your what would that be? Your waist is basically an upside down house, the drawing. So we have the belt here, and that belt is not going straight across. It's coming at an angle, just a bit of an angle if you see here. But as I'm saying about the upside down house, your hips, your crotch, if you're standing straight, it's like this. And I know those of you have seen a number of my videos. He says the same thing every day, but there are people who have not seen them. This is the first time they'll be able to see it. So if you actually turn it upside down, it becomes a house. Door, window, chimney, fireplace inside, 2 kids and a dog. So when I draw, I try to see something, and I use its closest shape to be able to draw it. Because if you look at things in their shapes and you practice enough doing squares, circles, and triangles, and being able to manipulate them in all different types of ways, then it's easy for you to draw something or draw anything. So as I say, right now that's kind of thick. That is very thick. So I guess when I fix this arm, I can make it less thick, shall we say. So let's do this, and this is just an oval. So this is just like that. And then we have the other oval coming down like that. So let's do this arm, and then we'll see where we are. So we have this, because his stomach is being sucked in right here. It's being sucked in and it comes out. So it's been sucked in and it comes out and up. And then maybe the chest is about right there. So, okay. We're doing the shoulder, and we're not doing the head yet. We're just doing the shoulder. We're going through the head, doing the shoulder, which is about right here. So coming up here, his collarbone is, since he's leaning over, when you lean over, if this person was, if I'm drawing a person, I'll do 2 people. Makes it easy. So that's going to be his torso. This is his waist, his hips, and legs. So torso, waist, hips, upside down house, legs. So if this guy was standing straight up and down, his collarbone would come straight across, go up. Here's his head, here's his arms here. Now if this guy was bending over, like he was going to pick up a coin or something off the ground, but he's bending over to an attack position, this collarbone would drop down into a V like this, which means his head sitting right here on his shoulders would come forward as well. So his head would be here. So the shoulders would not be under the neck like that or at the neck like that. The head would drop down into the shoulders like that. You'd have this V or diamond. I don't know why I keep going with V's and diamonds. You see that? And that will tell you if a person is leaning forward or not. The more he leans forward, the further this V or diamond, there I go again, is going to be down. Well, at that point, you start seeing the roundness of the back, and the head would come down further as well. So the arms would be here, like he's about to attack. And you see the chest and just a little bit of the stomach, and the hips would go back here, drawing through like that. So the more he bends down, the more of this V, there I go again, diamond you would see. So, and he is bending down, he's crouching down a little bit. So we have to gauge where that is, and you can just gauge that by, and it might be hard for you to see that. I'm sorry, like I say, it's dark. Next time I'll Photoshop it. So I'm gonna go, the point of the V is gonna go, point of the diamond is gonna go right on that direction line, like that. And then you'll have your shoulders here. Now, in that center here, you have your delts. And your delts are, if you do a circle for the delts, it's gonna hook right onto that end of that part of that diamond, which is a V. Same thing here. So this one, he's got his shoulders coming down though. So let's continue to pay attention to what I'm doing. I'll adjust that in a second while I'm still rolling. You have that, you have your shoulders coming down, and you have this whole circle. Just say it's a whole circle if you draw through like that. And then we'll just get rid of this part here. So it look like that and come from around his back into the front. Now this one, he is leaning like that. Because if you take, if you're trying to get stuff exact, you would take something like a ruler, which, let's say with this is flat, this is coming down. You see how high this is compared to that other deltoid. So you'd have to angle it like that. So it'd be like an angle, pretty much like that. So that would be the tip of this. So it would come down to about right there. And that's a good way to measure stuff. Just use your pencil. Just see where stuff lines up. Like if I say this top of this knee, top of that knee, it goes down like that. So this is a good way to be able to do it. You find that knee and you go down at the same angle as best you can. So I'm going to raise his shoulder up, bring this down. And because this is so dark, I'm just going to wing it. I know pretty much how the body structure is structured. So I'm just going to wing it. You might not be able to see it. So when foreshortening, anytime I have something that's foreshortened, especially if I'm looking at a picture or if I'm drawing it myself, instead of trying to draw the arms and put the hand in or the end of whatever, end of the foot, end of the knee or whatever, I'll put that part in, the end part in, as in I'll put the hand in first and then put everything else around that or make everything else fit that. So his fingers are basically just on the end of this delt. I'll drop it down just a little bit, just give me some playing room. And then I will put the arm on there, attach the arm on top of that. And then the bicep. You don't really see too much of the bicep. You see some over here, but you really don't see the other end over here. And I guess because of the claws are like blocking it. So the way that I did that, the way that you foreshorten something is to, let's say, here is the torso, here is your delt. So you want to bring the arm to make it like right here. If I make the fist right here, the way that you do that is to just draw a cone. You draw a cone like those orange cones that you see in the street when they block off the parking. Yeah, you just draw that. So to foreshorten something more, you would just bring the end circle closer to the the other circle, one end closer to the other. So if I drew a circle here, which is this end of the cone, and I drew another circle here, and then connect the lines, that makes that cone a little shorter, like I'm tilting it down to you. So if I wanted to tilt all the way to me, I would have a circle, which would be this, looking down, and then have another circle like that, right there. So that would be the end of that. So if I put his hand, or put a hand right here, there's a thumb, it would look like that arm is now pointing at me. Let me get, so that would make it look a little better. So if I did this hand here, and then you have this part of the circle, and that's about it, maybe a little bit of muscle right there. You'd have that hand coming at you. Then you could put the bicep there, and the delt there, which comes out to the chest. You have your lats, your collarbone, shoulder, and your head. And that makes it look like this person is foreshortening, aiming his hand at you. So it's just by, as I say, manipulating your three shapes, your circle, your square, and your triangle, as much as possible. You should do that, something with those every day. And then as you look at things, you say, oh, that's just a cone or cylinder, or that's just a this, or that's just a that. Makes it easy for you to draw. So right off the bat, I can see if I have to foreshorten this or shorten this some more. This could come in a little bit more. I'm still looking at it, but I know that his elbow is right at his belt. So these things that you have to look at when you're drawing. So I'm gonna have to bring that, or bring the arm down more, because it'll be too much to do this. So I'll bring that arm down more. If you have to erase the small parts. Don't try to erase the big parts. Do what's easy. Now let me work on his chest, because that was one reason why I knew that he was too wide. So let me do this and throw that arm in there later. So realistically, if I'm doing a person, I think I would have his waist about like that wide. The belt comes down, and then the leg is going to come right up to the belt. So again, foreshortening, circle, and if his knee is right here and his knee is a circle, I would say about right there. So that's his leg foreshortened. The belt comes up, a little bit of this, and then the arm is another circle right there. The hand is about right here. You have your bicep about right there, and then your tricep, because remember, he is tilting his way down. He's tilting down like so. And you want to draw light. You always want to draw light. You don't want to bear down on your pencil, because you might have to erase. So let's draw this hand here, square. Hopefully you guys can see that, because I'm not drawing dark, and I know a lot of times it depends on what camera I'm using or what phone I'm using, and I do film with a phone. I don't have the expensive cameras yet, but depending on how hard I dark, or how hard I bear down, you cannot see what I'm drawing. So I actually previewed several of my videos, and I'm like, oh, well, you can't see that yet until I get going. So we have that, we have this. So the chest is going to come out of the bicep, from where the bicep, like the center of the bicep, right here, and it curves around. And these particular makers of these statues, I cannot say that name without butchering it up. Kobotobukiya. Yeah, anyway, I really don't like the way they make their statues, and this is just a personal preference, because one, they make them small, and then they try to put so much muscle into them that it loses something. If they don't need to actually, like if you look at this, for instance, the deltoid, you know, they have too much muscle definition into that. I don't even think the deltoid has that much muscle definition, but to me, they kind of overdo it, and it throws a lot of it off to me. Some people just like over muscular powered guys, or statues or figures, but I'm not the one that I don't, so put it that way. So, okay, we have this, as this is at an angle. It's at that angle here and here. So about here and here. Then we have this other arm, which is just basically just a little circle here, coming down at that angle. All of it subject to change. You put it in there first lightly, and then you see if it's fitting where it's supposed to fit. And we have this comes out here, and then the fist. And I know when I draw light with this pencil, it's very hard to see, especially that it's nighttime now and my lights are not the greatest. So we have this again. Get that shape in there, that bicep, that delt. There's 3 sections to the delt. 3 heads, should I say, 3 muscular heads. It would be 1, 2, and 3 like this. This curves around, out to that. The belt curves like that. You see just a little bit of his brown pants. And then the belt curves in. I'd move this out a little bit more just because I don't want him to be too skinny. And it was easier moving that out, this out, than the other way. If I had taken all this off to match that arm, it would have been worse off for me. And as I said, that belt is coming up at an angle. And down. This curves around and crotch. Like that. So we have that leg that comes out. And then back here. And I'm glad I have this because I might have to drop that down a little bit from what I'm seeing so far. Remember that one knee is up higher than the other knee. And the calf, so the knee would be here. Calf goes down, or the shin goes down. And then his boots would be there. So we have this foreshortened. And notice I don't have this circle in the center of that circle. So you have that rear part of the circle. I don't have it in the center. I have it down on the edge, on that close to one edge. And that way it makes it look like it's tilting down a little bit. If I have, let's say here's my cone and it's straight up, and I want to tilt it down a little bit, I'll like that. You have just as much roundness here as you would here. If I brought it down a little bit more, you'll start to see the edge of this, the edge of the cone, and it would come down like this. If I brought it down to the center more, the center, it would, that center line. And if I brought it down even further, it would go past that center, it would come out of this center, there's no line, and it would be off-centered like so. If I brought it down a little bit more, it would be actually on this line here, hitting that circle. And if I brought it down even more, it would end up going off of the circle and doing something like this. Oh, it's supposed to be off the circle, Brian. Like that. Wait a minute, that's still on the circle. Off the circle, like that. And remember, this, as round as one end is, this end has to be just as round. So it would come like that. Like that. And then you'd have your little flat piece that holds it. So yeah, that's the thing about foreshortening. And wherever this is, say this is the end of your arm. So if you had a wristband on, or if you had a watch, it would be right here. And then your hand would be right here. So another tip on foreshortening. So I would put the knee about right here. The center of that line does not go straight down. That leg goes out a little bit. So I would go out like that. Just draw a center line there. Draw the calf. The other side of the calf. And your shin. And then he does have short legs because the original Wolverine was short. He was like 5 feet, I think it was. Now with the movies, it was kind of hard to, it's hard to find an actor just that short, you know, bordering like midget height, I guess. But yeah, he was short. And I like that. He was more of a scrapper until they turned him into this tame kind of Wolverine. He was just a pure fighter, a wild animal fighter. So, even that could be long. I could drop this down a little bit to shorten him out, which I think I will. Let's see if I want to shorten his legs a little bit. I think the legs are good for shortening. Now, once I put the costume on him, it'll cover up some of the thing, cover up some of the something. But that's a good thing about doing clothes. It covers up a lot of, now I don't want to say mistakes, but it covers up a lot of, I don't know what I'm doing kind of thing. Like if you're not sure about the back muscles, if you put a shirt on them or a cape over the back, then it covers up a lot of mistakes or not knowing. So this comes up like this, like that. Let's see if I drop the shoulder. I may drop the shoulder to make it a little shorter. Because I can fix the rest in the wash, keeping this arm there. Bringing that arm in. This arm is in a good placement for what I have. So it's going to be up to this side. Let's see this chest. And at this point is where you start looking at what you have and what you need to change. So this chest comes down. There's a piece here where the actual, they have the stomach turning up. Which is close. I could have dropped this whole thing down just a bit. I'm wondering, should I? Would it take too much time? And would it take away from everything that I'm trying to show you guys? Let's do this. Let's put the head. The head comes about right here, the top, the point of the chin, right here in this delt where it curves out like this. Comes up, and the head right here, actually the bottom of the chin is about right there, down into the shoulders, like I was saying about this. It's down into your shoulders. So just for that, let's do an oval head, and then we'll see if I need to bring it down more or not. So the shoulder's coming up right into the nose. So if I put his nose here, shoulder's about right here, comes all the way around, almost curving all the way around. And this, bring this in some, chin, so we'll bring this in some more. Bicep, 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 and this. So now we're getting it. Hopefully you can see my light red pencil lines. The leg muscles. You know, the leg is not round. Whenever you let's use my little buddy right here since he's sitting here. Okay, so my camera cut off a little bit. You'll see a little bit of my camera cut off a little bit. No, my camera didn't cut off a little bit. It cut off a whole lot of it. So you missed a little something. So let me catch you up with that. I was onto the roundness of the legs. The more of a, you draw your circle for the leg when it's foreshortened like this. But once you bend your leg and look at it forward, it changes because of the muscle structure. So I was using my little guy over here. Like if you can see, you see the leg muscles itself. But when you bend that, it's not going to be a perfect circle. You're going to have little bumps and so forth. So it's just knowing where the leg muscles are. And I'm not a stickler for leg muscles, just like I wasn't a stickler for back muscles, because I don't know why, because I really rarely drew the back. The person never faced backwards, or he had a cape or something, but I'm not a stickler, so it took me a while. I had to actually learn the muscles, learn the muscles, back muscles, as well as the leg muscles, to be able to do a better video for you guys. So we have this V here, and it curves around almost like an X. Like an X, right? Like an X-Man. So we have that, curve around here, curve around there. The boot comes up here, so this curves out like so. This comes out like that, comes up, almost like almost into a what do you call that shape? I don't know. It comes up like this. The other one comes out and in, and this one comes out and in again. Kind of that's where your X is, and it curves around the knee. It goes around that knee like that. Kind of like Bugs Bunny almost. And that would be his big Bugs Bunny teeth. Okay, not Bugs Bunny, but it's a rabbit. Okay, how about that? And then you have your, yeah, so it's a goofy rabbit. Give him a little hair. There you go. So, enough of today's cartooning. So we have this. And I'm not trying to be perfect for you guys, because I'm not perfect, but I want to be close. The muscle around there. I'm just trying to show you guys how to look at stuff. And then, of course, the boot is going to come up to cover that up. And you have your knee, which is more square. And your knee has this little piece in the mid-center where it bends. Like that. And as I said, the boot will cover the rest of that up. Now, what I did to this guy to make him look shorter was to do what? To make the head bigger. I'll give you an example of that right now. As soon as I find that runaway eraser, which is right here, a good way to make your characters look smaller is by making the head bigger. That's why the Hulk is so big, because they give him a small head. So if this is his shoulders. I'm not gonna get too lost. If I did a head about that size on this guy, it makes his body look ginormous. I mean, he's a giant now. It's like this is the Hulk now, because his head is so small and the body proportions are so big. So if I made his head big, I'll make it even bigger this time. Not crazy big, but it makes his body look a little smaller, almost like he's a kid wearing a costume. So that's just a tip to help make your people look bigger or smaller, or your bodies look bigger or smaller. And as I said, Wolverine is short. He's original. I don't know if this part got cut out, but originally he was like 5'1", maybe 5 something, I think, 4'9". So he was just a scrapper because of I guess his size. Let's put that line where his face is going. But Wolverine was just a straight fighter, like a wild animal. I might have said it already, but as I said, my video cut off, and I don't know what part I was doing when it cut off. I know I was talking about the leg, so. And I'm going to drop that head down even more, because it basically is kind of like his neck is jutting out. So I'm going to bring that head over. Bring that head down. So I know my video cut off in 28 minutes. Usually the camera will cut off in 40, I think it's like 47 minutes. Usually, because I guess the camera thinks, hey, nobody's touching me. I'm left alone, so let me just cut off. So I don't know why I cut off in 28 minutes. and without making any sound. Usually it dings when it cuts off, but not today. So one day I'll get a good camera. I actually ordered a Samsung Galaxy 7. I had a 6. If you guys have been keeping up my videos, I had a Samsung Galaxy 6. And I ordered 2 actually, because I sent one back and I ordered another one, but I looked up online and they say that those phones get hot because of the, I guess, the operating program. And if you're running a bunch of things, the phone will get hot. So it wasn't me, it was actually the phone actually does that. So I ordered a, what is it? It's not it's a 7J. It's a cheaper version, but I heard that phone does not get hot like the Galaxy 7, because someone said on a video on YouTube, yes, YouTube, that the, what is it, 5, 6, and 7 actually get hot because of the not the Jelly Bean. I don't know anything about it, but whatever program that they're running, they get hot from that. So I did a couple of reviews, and the J7 does not get hot, so they say. So we will see. So it should be here by Tuesday. Not like you even know what day today is. What is today? Today is Wednesday. It's another week. And then I'll start doing tighter videos, as in the camera, that particular camera has a screen mirroring feature that allows me to see what I'm doing on my monitor. So if you've been with me for a while, you know I've been catching hell with these cameras and they're not doing what they're supposed to do, or they're cutting off on me, and then, like I said, just catching hell, and I can't see when I take the paper out of focus. So that's my big pet peeve here. So you can't really see that U shape where the stomach sucks in at, but I know it's there, but his uniform covers it up, but it does dip like this, dip in where that stomach sucks in at, and then comes down into the belt like that. So I just drop this pec down because he's turning so much. That's this angle here and that angle there. They have to kind of match so that the chest won't go straight across like I had it the first time. It has to match into. And that's why this cuts in. This belt actually cuts into his stomach, which I do like that sculpting part, that attention to detail. And this one is out. Like that. The belt might be a little fat, but we can fix that. But I am a Sideshow Collectibles. I used to collect a lot of statues back in the day when I had a lot of money and no brains. Instead of saving, I was buying statues, $300, $400, $800 statues. But then I ended up starting to sell them when the money got tight and they just couldn't count on the bills. Billy Joel. Count on the bills. Something about the bills. Billy Joel song. Brenda and Eddie. What is he talking about? It's an old Billy Joel song. Look it up. I think it's something Italian, something cafe or something, whatever the name of that song is. They just didn't count on the bills. Not couldn't count on the bills. They just didn't count on the bills. Too many bills. Not enough money. Sell my statues. Feel bad seeing other people with their statue collections. But, you know, either they had better jobs or they have a wife that was helping them, or they have credit card debt up to their ears. And that's usually the case. People can't buy like a $1,000 statue every month and not pay for the enormous houses that they have and with these rooms that they have these statues in. So I want to say that these guys are in debt, crazy debt. Okay, so let's make this arm, bring this arm in and down a little bit more because it's coming out of that part of the chest. This is Wolverine. He is thick. This curve, thin there. Curve and thin there. And I'm going to speed this up because usually these videos. If it goes on over an hour, I'm not really happy with it. But to teach, it takes time to teach. You know, if you're still in school and you go to class and the class is over in 20 minutes, I know you'd be happy, but at the end of the school year, you would have learned nothing. So for those who are serious about learning, they stay with me. So yeah, Wolverine is shaping up. So let's do the finger, 2, 3, 4. Because your fingers, if you look at it, and it's something I never really thought about, your fingers don't, your open part of your fingers, your separation does not come all the way to the end. When I was young, I used to draw them all the way to the end. So I would draw a hand like this, and then my thumb like that. But your finger openings don't come all the way to the end. They stop and they actually curve out a little bit, depending on how tight you make your fists. They have like a little curve to it, like that. And then you have your knuckles, like that. And then you end it here. Well, hand tutorial, this hand, I hope you can see that. This finger stops before the other fingers. So your main finger stops here. The other ones are longer. And then if you turn your hand just a little bit, you can see some of this. So if you stop it right here, you can just do an added extra piece like that to show that you are seeing some of the front of your hand. And of course your thumb comes out, down, and it tucks under like that. But this is going to be round, and this is right because it's at an angle, but this is round. But that's just, that's another video. I did a hand video. Go look it up. So it's going to be curved like this. Say 1, 2, 3, and there's the fourth one. And you're not going to be able to see the thumb because the thumb is behind this and this is angled up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the hand? It's got to be curved around like so. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And as I said, this is going to be covered up by his glove and his claws. But you still have to get the basic hand there. And I'm thinking I see the back of some of the back of his hand, which you do because the claws in the original are on the back of his hand. So let's lift that up a little bit more. So what I just did was this. You have your fist, and it's upside down, so we have that, and your fist is going to be, your thumb is right here on this side. So to see the back of your hand, which is this part, you just do kind of like a little bit of a triangle and round it off, and then your rest of your arm comes out. You're going to have this little thin piece, and then it fattens up here. So that's what this is, and just indicated by curving it in, and then the fatness of it. So if I do the bicep like that, and then the delt, which is wrong because it's turned upside down. So then you'd have the back of the hand to put his little claw things on, like that. So we got this, and it's really hard to see, but as I'm staring at it a little bit more, I can kind of figure it out. Figure it out, Brian. Figure it out. So we have this, we have this here, and then that. And the same thing with the leg. It's not going to be all round. It's going to be bumpy. This is really wide. I don't know why they had that. Maybe it's because of the other part of the bicep. So let's do it that way. So this comes in, and like I said, that is crazy wide. Now I'm trying to be more perfect with it. So let's just bring it in some more. Let's bring that in some more. Wrist, It's about that much, I believe. It's really hard to see this where the knuckles actually start. So I will just do that. I'll just do this. And just have him have his fist up more. Maybe that makes more sense. But then he's got one here, and one here. So that would probably work. So I'm going to show more of the back of the hand and less of the fingers, like that. But the way they have this is like crazy wide, but they got a crazy big chest. So as I say, this company is known for just overly doing muscles. I want to make that hand just a lot bigger. Like that. And it's just, you do shapes. When you do hands, hand is a square. So I just did basically a square almost like that. And then I just rounded it off because one finger is going to be longer than the other, especially when you do a tight fist. And then just curve that in. And your thumb would be up here and you wouldn't see that. And then your arm down here. So, and you have your knuckles here. And then with Wolverine, he has his little claws there, claw holders there. So that's all this was. So usually once I hit the 30-some mark or the close to the hour mark, I try to speed up. And I see my light is still on the camera, so it's still running, thank goodness. And let me double check, and I guess I can put the costume on. Let me do this hand real quick. So same thing here, up, and then it's going to be your fingers. 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one here. And you see draw another line and then go back at an angle like that. And then you see the other parts of his fingers like that. And of course you have to have the knuckles. And then the thumb comes over that. So that's just a rectangle here. You won't see the connecting part and maybe the other bend in it right there, but you probably won't see it. And then some palm. Some of the palm, the fat part, and the small part. And of course I could bring those fingers out a little bit more, which I will, because you'll see when you make a fist, you'll see this sticks out. It kind of like jumps out. So whenever you have that baby finger, you're gonna have a piece of hand sticking out right there. And that's just little words of wisdom, little tidbits on drawing the hand. So yeah, and I won't put that other piece of bent thumb right here. I'll just have it like that. Just leave it be like that. And again, I say you have your palm, and then it's give them a wider wrists. And there. So there you have your basic pose. Now let's just put a little bit of uniform on them. The boot is pretty much close to the knee, so it's going to come up. The other one comes out and it's black, so you really can't see it. But if you know Wolverine, you know his costume. Like that, and you see the inside of the boot. So it's going to flop in and then come off the calf. Come off, it makes it a little more thinner. Like so. This one comes all the way around and in. He has some heel. So this comes in. You see just a little bit of heel back here. It goes back. He has that bottom part curves out. So he has that heel going around. The square toe part. that heel. My pencil's not sharp anymore, so forgive me for the lines that you don't see. And then he's standing on whatever it is. The back leg, so about right, where's your knee? The knee's about right here. Goes down, so about right here. And that comes out right about there. And then in, bring it out a little bit more. And it has almost a triangle shape. And then it curves in like that. The other part just sticks out there, curves around, and then there. Now, we all know how to do gloves. It's not going to be round because the arm is not round. It's going to round over here and then kind of flatten out and then round back over. Maybe not that much flat or suck it in, but not that much sucked in. But yeah, that's it. And the back of the glove is going to come right in here somewhere, like that. Mask. Let's do a quick face, and as I said, I'll do the rest in the wash. We got this chin there, that, and where's that line? That line is about right here. And usually I don't start with the chin in the mouth. No way, Jose. But I'll adjust that in a second. Little piece for the nose, which is that has a name. That little piece here. Nose goes here. Which is, let's just do that triangle. And then his eye, which is way too high on his head. This is why I don't do the face first, or the nose or the mouth first. And you probably saw that before I did, because you're looking down on it. So, see, the eye's about right here. The nose is about right there, so. And I will speed this up in a second. I just want to get the basic proportions in. Nose is there. He's got that old man kind of look on his face, so he's not happy. When is he ever happy? There, and then I'll give him a little more chin. Put the Wolverine mask on him. Point and shoot, come down and under his chin. The part here, which actually curves into his eye and comes out and up. And then you have the Wolverine. And that's actually off of his shoulder a little bit, so I want to bring this up a little higher. This one too, it curves in and it comes out and it gives him that evil expression. And then like that, you see part of his face, or part of his ear, part of his chin, and maybe bring that head down just a little bit more. I'll fix that in the wash, but this is the part I wanted to show you, the little steps that you can take by looking at some things, measuring some things, stopping, walking away, coming back, and looking at what you've got and what you're doing. It helps you to figure out your drawings more. And then you've got ribs here. His ribs come up under here. So, as I said, I'm going to fix all this in inking and do it probably a speed inking, and then come back with the finished product. So at this point, the hard part would be basically over. It's basically over. So let's cut to inking.
Let's go.
truth be told, this is the next day, and I had time to sleep on it and come back and look at the drawing again. And as I say, always, 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 before you ink, walk away from your picture, come back later, and that way you'll be able to see what you have, so you can check your angles and your proportions. So seeing this the next day, I realized that, and artists are not supposed to show their mistakes, but I'm not perfect. I'll let you guys know that. I learn from my mistakes, and I teach you guys from my mistakes too, to not make the same mistakes I make or made. So if anything, I would have changed the head. The head is too big. I would have tilted it up a little bit more. And this leg, I would have put it out, and maybe straighten this leg up a little bit. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. And I hope that you guys did learn something if you did watch it all the way straight through without cutting, because if you did cut through to the end, you missed some important tips. To me, I would say they're important. So that's it for this Wolverine, or this drawing. So the next drawing, I'm going to talk about negative space. The negative space meaning the space in between everything. A lot of us focus on the actual drawing itself and don't think about the negative space. But by thinking about the negative space, it helps you make a better drawing. It helps you bring your drawing closer to what you're looking at. So with that, I'll leave that and ask you guys to subscribe if you like it, and give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. I usually always answer my comments because my channel's not that big. I don't have thousands and thousands of people. So I always try to answer my comments if I can catch them before like a week or whatever. But usually I'll answer all my comments. So if you have any questions or suggestions, let me know. And I will try to get back to you and do those suggestions if they are good suggestions. So that's it. Enough of my rambling. I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, one last thing before I go. Now, I started to build a lot of these drawings up, meaning I'm starting to have a collection of these drawings, these finished drawings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting them up on my DeviantArt channel and on my, what's the other one? Whatever the other channel is, it'll pop up so that you guys can go and you can see the finished picture. And like with this one, I may do some of the blacks to, you know, really do more detail to it so you guys can see more of a finished product. So yeah, Instagram, that's the word I was trying to say. So with that, the addresses should be up somewhere. All right, I'm out. I'll see you guys later.